So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. You know, one thing that irritates me is when older people, if I tell them that I'm 44, oh, you're just a baby. No, I'm not. I'm nobody's baby. That annoys me because that disregards the wisdom and the knowledge that I have acquired over the years, and that dismisses it. And you know, black people have a tendency to do that. No, I'm not a baby. I'm a fully grown man. I'm nobody's motherfucking baby. I'm nobody's teddy bear. I'm nobody's emotional punching bag, and nobody will vampire off of me. Let me be clear about that. Okay? But I'm nobody's baby. And I even have to get in my mother's ass about that too. I'm not your baby. I'm your son. Not your baby, I'm your son. I don't like being referred to as somebody's baby because that puts you in a category of where people think that they can just say and do whatever they want to do to you. So I have to correct people and say, no, I'm not a baby. I'm a grown ass man. I'm pushing 50 in 5 motherfucking years. I ain't nobody's motherfucking baby. To me, that's disrespectful to my energy and to my wisdom and knowledge that I have acquired in this lifetime. So I'm putting that out into the motherfucking universe. I ain't nobody's motherfucking baby. Nobody's. I haven't been a baby since 1979. I've been living an adult life practically since I was what? 12 years old? And then I really started to live an adult life when I was 16 years old. And then when I was 19, I was fully grown. So no, I'm nobody's baby because nobody has ever taken care of me. I've always taken care of myself by any means that may have been. So no, I'm not your baby. And I would really appreciate it if black women would stop calling these grown ass men babies. Just stop with that. A motherfucker that's 35 motherfucking years old ain't no motherfucking baby. A motherfucker that's 29 years old ain't no fucking baby. Now, I can understand somebody being under the age of 26, but 26 and above, you ain't no motherfucking baby. Between birth and 25, I get it. Sometimes it takes them a little longer or whatever. But stop calling, and I'm not talking to anybody in regards to how they refer to their grown son, their grown sons. If that's what you want to say to your son, I ain't judging that. But I'm talking about people that are not your sons. Stop calling these grown ass men babies because that gives them excuses to do some of the things that they do. A 30-year-old man is not no motherfucking baby. A 30-year-old woman is not a baby. That's a fully grown woman. Now, if we're talking about maturity level, that's something totally different. But these people are not babies. They're grown. And they need to be treated like adults. I was treated like an adult before I was even motherfucking 15 years old. And you got people sitting up here calling these grown ass men babies. They're not babies. Now, maybe it's a figure of speech, maybe it's not, but do not refer to me as a baby. I am not a baby. I'm a fully grown motherfucking man that could damn near have a child that's motherfucking 30 years old if I was messing around when I was 14. So please do not refer to me as a baby. I'm putting that out into the universe. I ain't nobody's motherfucking baby. Now, let's have a chat, shall we? I was watching an interview, an interesting interview of with Piers Morgan and Andrew Tate. Piers Morgan, of course, was interviewing Andrew Tate. And I believe this is his first major, or one of his first major interviews since being released from Romanian prison. And Andrew Tate is a very interesting person. He's very interesting. Now, I will give him this much. He talks a good game. He's a very good, convincing speaker. He knows how to use the art of language to get his point across and to convince people that what he is saying is the truth. I'm not necessarily sure if I'm convinced that he trafficked or did what they are accusing him of doing. I'm not sure if I'm convinced of that, because I do understand that in this world, certain people can be set up, certain people can be silenced, etc., etc. But here's where he kind of went to the left with me. When he started to, in subtext, well, he actually said it literally, but when you read the subtext, it just lets you know that they're all part of the same cult. When he began to subliminally suggest that P. Diddy has also been set up, and Piers Morgan, I know a lot of people don't like Piers Morgan. You know what? I like Piers Morgan. Not personally, but I like how he does not let anyone get away with any bullshit. I like that. He does not allow anyone to get away with any bullshit, and it doesn't matter who you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe Piers Morgan is a racist. I think that Piers Morgan can be an asshole at times, but I don't think that he is a racist. I think a lot of people thought he was a racist because of his harsh criticism of Meghan Markle and Harry, because a lot of people like Meghan Markle and a lot of people like Harry. But what people don't understand about Meghan Markle and Harry, we have to really look at the royal family for what it is. Meghan Markle was allowed to marry into that family because she is actually related to them way down the royal line. And we all know that they practice a form of inbreeding, allegedly, in the royal family. We know that. So it is what it is. And I'll get into that a little bit later on in the video about, the inbreeding and a lot of the things that's going on in the world today. I'll get into that a little later. But just watching Andrew Tate and examining his movements and his energy, I'm not here to debate his views on masculinity and male female roles. I'm not here to knock him on that. I'm not here to talk about that. That's really not the consensus of this video. I will give him this much. When he said, I don't know if he was telling the truth or not, But he said, and that kind of, I said, okay, there may be some character and integrity there. He said that if his son was gay, he would accept him as long as he's not being a degenerate and doing things like that. And you know what? I can get with that. I can get with that. I can get with that. You know what I'm saying? So that shows that he does have some reasonable capabilities. Would I have a personal conversation with him? I would love to. I would love to have a personal conversation with Andrew Tate and just pick his brain and ask him questions about certain things, not to trigger him or to be disrespectful or anything like that. You know what I mean? But there are some things about him that are, I'm not going to say troubling, but just questionable. I look at how he sits and how he holds his hands. He sits with like very good posture. It's like he's very perfect. And the way he speaks, he almost speaks like an AI robot, like something or someone is controlling him through a remote control. You get what I'm saying? When I was having a conversation today with someone else about it, they were saying that he acts as if he's a high functioning autistic person. I would say maybe Asperger's or something like that as well. And that can all well be fine and true. But my question is, what type of game is being played with the public in regards to Andrew Tate and his brother? Now, they say that Andrew Tate is supposed to be the product of a white woman and a black man. And like I told you all, I'm still waiting to see where the black man is because I don't see a black man in him. I don't see a black man in his brother either or either. So my question is, who is this man really? Who is Andrew Tate? Some people say that he is a product or how can I put it? An extension, I'm going to say an extension of Anton LaVey. Some people say that Taylor Swift is an extension of Anton LaVey. Meaning they're in that same gene pool some kind of way. I don't know. But I tell you one thing. He certainly does favor Anton LaVey. He favors him. And his speaking points and the things that he talks about, they do align with certain tenements of Satanism. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. But this man was in jail for a year, about a year. And what really, I'm going to say not troubled me, but what made me give him a little bit of a side eye was when Piers Morgan was asking him, well, did you cry in jail? And he said, no, I didn't cry, but there were tears coming down my eyes when I was exercising in jail, thinking about my kids. And Piers Morgan was like, well, that's crying. No, that's not crying. That was just a tear coming down my eye. That's how he was talking. So he wants to change. See, you have to listen to people's words. So now I'm going to say they want to change the function of crying from crying is not tears coming down your eyes anymore, evidently. A tear is just a tear. But what Andrew Tate was trying to explain was that crying is an act. And the tear is basically the response. But crying is crying. Why would you want to take the emotion out of something that is a natural process when a human being is happy, or when a human being is sad, or when a human being is mad? Crying is a natural process. So why is he trying to change the process or the concept of crying? Why is he trying to put that out into the universe? That's number one. That was side eye number one. If you cried, nigga, you cried. Grown men cry all the time. It makes you look weaker. Excuse me. It makes you look weaker when you sit up and lie and say, oh no, I wasn't crying. It was just a tear coming out of my eye. See, that is right there. That is what people call air and fire magic. That's air and fire magic right there. It's right in front of your face. The truth is right there. But they will tell you, oh, it's something else. Oh no, that's not crying. So now you all are trying to define and change the definition of crying. So you're telling me if a tear comes out of my eye, that's not considered crying? I'll tell you all day in a can of paint. When people, like for example, when my two cousins died last year, I cried like a baby. It wasn't no mustard, ketchup, relish, no bullshit in between. I cried like a motherfucking baby. When my friend Christopher died, I cried like a banshee. There is no shame in that. So now they want to take out emotion and they want to shift and change emotion and make it into something that it's not. Crying is actually a very spiritual experience. And this is how I know that they want to lead our society into a non-spiritual society, and they just want to make it knowledge and practical, and they want to remove the spirit or the connection to the spirit. That is why he speaks so much about, money and finances, but he doesn't really speak about spirit. He claims to be, I believe he claims to be Islamic. I believe. And I understand that he has a right to privacy and stuff like that. It's not that. But why would this man say that a tear coming out of your eye is not crying? Why would he imply or say that or throw that spell out into the universe? That's because they want to disconnect people from emotion. Because emotion, when it's channeled the right way, emotion can tap into spirit. Because if I'm sitting and I'm meditating, and this happens to me a lot, if I am meditating, sometimes I will start crying because that is spirit trying to align with you. That is it could be an ancestor letting you know that they are there comforting you. Sometimes it may be confused as a sad feeling, but in actuality, it's just a response to you connecting to the spiritual realm within you or the quantum realm within you. And there are a myriad of emotions that may come with making that connection. But because Andrew Tate is not a spiritual person, he wants to take that out of the equation. And he basically was trying to shame people for crying. That is what he was trying to do. Shame people for having a moment of crying. He was basically saying that crying is a sign of weakness. No, let me tell you what a sign of weakness is. A sign of weakness is when you don't know that you're sick and you walk around with all of these emotions inside of you and you are hyper masculine when it comes to men. You're hyper masculine. You're walking around with all of these emotions inside of you. And then when they do come out, you take them out on your children. You take them out on other innocent people. You take them out on your wives, your girlfriends. To me, that is a sign of sickness and weakness. What is a sign of strength is when a man allows himself to cry and to face those emotions. And through that breakdown, you will have a breakthrough, as they say. You can't have breakthroughs if you don't have a breakdown. And what really, really disturbed me about that interview is that I would have thought that by him being locked up in jail for something he claims he did not do, I would have thought that that would have humbled him in some ways. Not humbled him, for other in the face of other people, but gave him a different perspective on life and humanity in general, where he would have said, you know what, maybe I'm not looking at this in a full lens. Maybe I'm not looking at this in a bird's eye view. Because then I saw another recent interview that he did. I'm assuming around the same time that he did the interview with Piers Morgan, where he was talking about how being rich, what did he say? Being rich is a hard job. And he was saying that losers, people that are losers, they quit. And how rich people, the reason that they become rich or millionaires is because they never quit. And I thought about that. I said, okay. I can understand what he's saying with that. But at the same time, he's not acknowledging that he talks about the matrix. He talks about the matrix. He talks about how this matrix is this and this matrix is that, but you're benefiting from the matrix. You're benefiting from the matrix. The mere fact that you're still breathing, if that's really him, which I believe it is, you're benefiting from the matrix. And the mere fact that you are still breathing after you sat up on Piers Morgan and said that the government, he always says the government, they tried to take they took all of his money. He said they took a lot of his they seized a lot of his property. They seized jewelry, gold, cars, a lot of stuff from him, which I think is awful if he's innocent. But you talk about the matrix, but you're part of the matrix. You're part of the game. But what happened was he says that it's because he's trying to empower people. No, you're not. You're not trying to empower people. You're only trying to empower a select group of people. He's not trying to, he's supposed to be black. Do you ever see him around any black men? Do you ever see him around? And I'm not saying he has to, but I'm just making a point. He's supposed to be black, right? His father's black, right? I don't believe it. I think the story is all made up. But that's another story. Then again, maybe that's why they're doing that to him, because he is a black man. I don't know. Just for giggles and kikis, okay? He's supposed to be a black man, but you never see him helping the black community. He tries to stay as far away from the black community as possible. And child, sometimes I don't blame him for that. I'm just saying. But I'm just making a point. Because his assertion is that the reason that they came after him was because he was speaking truth and trying to empower, I guess he's trying to empower men in general. Maybe he doesn't do it, maybe he doesn't have a particular race that he's trying to empower. But it's very interesting that all of the people that you see him hang around are non-black people. It's the same thing with Colin Kaepernick. It's like the Colin Kaepernick effect. And I don't care what people get mad about. You notice you don't hear too much about him anymore. He sucked black people in because he was another, biracial man, which there's nothing wrong with being biracial. Let me be clear about that. I think biracial men are sexy. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that Colin Kaepernick and Andrew Tate, they have something in common. They both are biracial men, but they don't have any black people around them. Colin Kaepernick's girlfriend is not even black. But yet he's supposed to be the face for black, um, I guess you could say the black movement. I don't know. I don't even know how to talk about that shit anymore. Same thing with Andrew Tate. A lot of black men following. Well, a lot of black men, they like non-black women, and that's okay. I have no issue with that. But I'm just making the point. Who are these people really here to serve? It's not to serve us. It's not to serve us. And that's my whole point. These people come out and they try to act like they are here to serve humanity and help everybody else. Well, no, you're trying to help a small select group of people, and then you use the energy of the public at large to do it. And then we keep giving, not me, but I'm saying we, just being, allegorical. We keep giving these people our energy, but they don't give a fluke about us. Michael Jackson told us in that song, they don't really care about us. Michael told us before he was, before he passed away. They don't care about nobody. They don't even care about white people like we think they do. That's all an illusion. White people, you in trouble too. They're manipulating you too. That is why I don't understand the obsession with celebrities. I'm not obsessed with celebrities or public figures. I'm not. So I'm just asking, general questions about this man, Andrew Tate. Not saying it is, not saying it's not, but I just have questions. I'm not attacking him. I'm not going to say I dislike him. I don't think I would dislike Andrew. I don't dislike him. I mean, I don't know him to like him. You know, he's not bad. He's not bad looking. You know, sometimes sometimes he looks funny to me, but then sometimes I look at him, he's not a bad looking guy. I think he has a great ability of convincing people of what he wants to, of whatever agenda that he has set forth. But I don't think that it's wise to try to change the dynamics of what crying is, because crying is a very important part of spirituality. Crying is connected to spirit. So, of course, if he is saying what he's telling people, and people need to pay attention to this. So, you all follow these antichrist people and you don't understand what they're saying. He is saying that he is not connected to spirit. You can meditate and still not be connected to spirit. You can pray. Some of the best people, some of the best prayers, or some of the best people who can say the best prayers are not connected to spirit. Prayer is not about being able to say fancy words. Meditation is not about just sitting with your eyes closed still for 5 hours or 5 days. If you train your body, anybody can do that. Meditation and prayer is about what can you manifest within your universe? What can you manifest within the world? And what is your connection to the spiritual realm within that? Are you connecting with the spiritual realm, or are you just sitting in darkness? Are you having any emotional experiences within those meditation and prayers? Because when I meditate or when I pray, and when I say prayer, I don't mean in the Christian sense, but when I meditate and I pray, I feel something. Andrew Tate is telling you he feels nothing. This is the same man that said that he hates food. He said he thinks that food is gross. But then in the same breath, he says that all he eats is meat. No vegetables. All he eats is meat. And drinks coffee and smokes cigars. But then in another breath, he says he hates food. He says that food is gross and disgusting, and he wishes that he did not have to do it, and he only eats the bare minimum to survive. That lets you know right there, somebody that hates food, somebody that does not enjoy the taste of food or the art of food, or, somebody like that, they're disconnected from spirit. See, black people, real black people, we enjoy food, we taste food, we enjoy it, we can, you know, we can really understand that experience of tasting and enjoying food, not being gluttonous, but enjoying the taste and the sensation of food. And that's because of our melanin. And we have those sensors where we can enjoy things a lot better. That is why sometimes, others hate us, because we can have that enjoyment that some of them cannot, or that they have to do certain works in order to have those sensations. And I don't care who that offends. You're supposed to enjoy food. If something tastes good to you, you're supposed to enjoy that. Just like I like strawberry ice cream every now and then. Not every day, but every now and then. I like a strawberry ice cream sundae. Every now and then. And I enjoy that. I only eat one. I'll make me one. I'll make them myself. I only eat one. And I like putting a little bit of chocolate syrup on it, and maybe putting a little bit of almond milk in it and make it into like a milkshake, a chocolate strawberry milkshake. I make a little bit. I only eat one. I enjoy that. I had one tonight, and I enjoy that. Now, I'm not really into cakes and cookies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Not like I used to be. Certain things I just don't eat like that anymore, because when you get older, you do got to kind of watch a little bit what you eat. Try a little bit. So I understand the importance of health. But for a person to say that they don't enjoy food, and unfortunately, a lot of y'all black people are getting like that too. I don't like this food. I don't like that. I don't enjoy it. I mean, you're taking all of the spirit. Spirit can be fun too. But you all are taking all of the spirit out of life, all of the enjoyment out of life. And unfortunately, people like Andrew Tate, they are the ones manipulating the minds of the masses of people. They're telling you to disconnect from your spirit. They're telling you not to tap into your spirit. To deny crying is denying your spiritual experience. To deny crying and to deny emotion is denying your spirit to speak with you. Now, he did say that he thinks that men are hyper emotional. He did say that. He said that. But I don't know where he was trying to go with that. I have to go back and look at it again. You say that men are hyper emotional because Piers Morgan asked him, do you think you're an emotional person? He said, yeah, I think men are hyper emotional. But being hyper emotional is not tapping into spirit. That's also, in my opinion, that's also the same context, in the same context of saying that you're hyper masculine. And you can make a lot of mistakes being hyper emotional and hyper masculine. I listened to something that Ayanna Van Zant said when she was talking about being assertive. And she said that being assertive is not the same thing as being controlling. She said being assertive comes from the heart. Being controlling comes from the mind. You get what I'm saying? And everything that Andrew Tate talks about, well, let me rephrase that. Not the mind, but the brain. Excuse me. Being controlling comes from the brain. Being assertive comes from the heart. Because when you're assertive, it's not coming from a place of trying to be controlling and manipulating. And there are a lot of men and women who are very controlling and manipulating. That's why I've had to cut a lot of people off. in my life at times. So assertiveness comes from the heart. Control comes from the brain, not the mind, because the mind and the heart are really intertwined. But the physical brain wants control over everything and everybody. So when I listen to Andrew Tate talk in general, everything he talks about is of a non spiritual nature. It comes from the brain, it doesn't come from the heart. And that is how religions are. He speaks like a religious person. Now, he said, and I'm not saying that you have to adhere to one path over another, but he said something that was very interesting. I thought he said a long time ago that he practiced Islam, but he said that he liked Romania because Romania is a Christian country. Now, you're Islamic, but you like Romania because it's a Christian country. So it just makes me wonder, if you're an Islamic man, if you're a man who is a Muslim, Islamic man, whatever, why would you give props to a country that you say is a Christian country that has Christian traditional values, but you're supposed to be a Muslim? How come he doesn't go to Muslim countries where he would have, sad to say, more rights as a so called man? So that is why I say, who is this man and what type of game are they playing with us? Because at this point, I don't believe anything that he says primarily out of his mouth. I don't. I don't have anything against him, but I just have questions. And if I could, I would ask him these questions to his face. If I could. Not in no interview where people could see, but I would want to know. You said that you practice Islam. So why would you say that Romania is a Christian country with traditional values? Why would that be of importance to a man who claims to be a Muslim? Because he claimed to be a Muslim a year ago. Maybe he changed. I don't know. But I'm just asking questions. Who is Andrew Tate? But Andrew Tate does not speak from the heart. He speaks from the brain. That is why there's no spirit. So if a tear comes out of his eye, he's correct. He's not crying because he's not connected to spirit. And that is how a lot of religious people are. They're only connected to the brain. They're not really connected to the heart, which is why they are harsh, hateful, evil, unbalanced, and nasty. And the only thing that they seek is to control and dominate other people with fear, intimidation, and violence. So it's all full circle in a way. But anyway, that's all I have to say on that. I'll come back with another video about what I wanted to discuss in regards to incest and inbreeding and how that's affecting our world now. Because I see what's going on. But that's just my assessment on Andrew Tate. But it's really not about him per se alone. It's about his influence in the world. His influence and how it manipulates and how it contributes to a lot of the dysfunction that we see in the world. When you have somebody talking about they don't like food, and now there's this push for people to not eat meat because they say meat is bad for the environment. So now they want to make lab meat. They want to force everyone to be vegan. How does Andrew Tate feel about that, considering he says that he eats all these steaks and meats all the time? How does he feel about that? Being a mega social influencer in the world. How does he feel about that, I wonder? No, they want to disconnect people from spirit. And they want everyone to be the same. They don't want any more individuality. They don't want any more individual creativity. They want everyone to be the same. And if you do not follow that pattern, they want to take you out. Just like I was listening to some rabbi who said that it's on social media, well, on YouTube, some rabbi said that the world to come, black people don't have a place in the world to come. But what he's really talking about is that black people, no, we don't have a place in the world to come. You know why? Because you all will be stuck here in the decay of the third dimension, and black people will have elevated to a higher dimension or a higher state of consciousness, and you all, the ones who are whatever, you will be stuck here in the cycle of decay of the lower dimensions. That's what he's really trying to say without saying it. Mr. Rabbi, we see you, Mr. Rabbi. We see you. Yes, black people will not be part of the world to come. We're going to elevate. Some of us are going to elevate to the higher dimensions where there will be no wars, there will be no racism, there will be no poverty. I'm already feeling the difference and the shift already. So you're absolutely right. That is why some of you can't come out the house now, the ones that look like the rabbi. That's why some of them are having issues maneuvering around now, because we're not in the same dimension anymore. So you can't come into this dimension. You can't come into it because it would literally make you sick, because you're on such a lower vibrating frequency. So that is why a lot of these people, you don't see them anymore. People wonder why you don't see a lot of people in Hollywood that's been missing. That's because we have elevated to a higher dimension and they have not. They have not. They are stuck in the cycle of decay of the third dimensional world. And what they do is they try to use money and all of the fake money and the fake success in Hollywood to keep us entrapped with them so they can continue to feed off of us. I see exactly what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with money, but there's something wrong with the people that are behind it sometimes. There's nothing wrong with success. I've been feeling a different vibe lately. I've been feeling a different vibe. And a lot of things are changing and I'm feeling it. See, this is why you should be connected to your emotions and not listen to people who tell you that they cried, that a tear came out of their eye, but they didn't cry. What type of shit is that? But I've been feeling a different vibe lately. There is definitely an elevation taking place. And that is what we should be focused on for those of us who are beings of light, who are balanced beings of darkness and light. We should be focused on that. Not a spiritual teacher, not a social media guru, but people do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell people what to do. But I've been feeling something shifting, and it has been a good feeling. There are certain things that I was facing that I'm no longer facing. There were certain challenges I was going through that I am no longer going through. They are dissipating. They're going away. Or they're not as intense. So that is why it is very important in this time to distance yourself as much as possible from negative people, from energy vampires, from people who want to remain in a cycle of victimization and they don't want to improve that. I'm not talking about real victims. I'm talking about people who use victimization as a way to victimize other people. You get what I'm saying? Energy vampires. You have to distance yourself away from those types of people as much as possible. There is no room in my life for those types of people anymore. And I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't give a fuck how they feel about it. It is what it is because they ain't going to do shit about it. Because if they could do something about it, then they could change their own fucking circumstances. And most of them cannot and will not. So we have to leave them in the decay of the 3D world. And I'm not saying that to be cruel, but it's about survival. And your survival is a necessity. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Anyway, this is the occult view. That's all I have to say for now. Stay on your spiritual path. Keep negativity at a minimum as much as you can. And don't allow people to suck your light. Because there are a lot of corpses out here that are looking for energy. Thank you.